Greetings, you fellow mad scientists, and welcome back to Terratech with me, Elathrex, and of course, welcome for the very first time to a bit of modded chaos. Today we're going to be testing out the GreenTech Corporation. This mod has only recently been released on Steam, and everyone who's played it so far who spoke to me has said it is absolutely fantastic. And honestly, from my first impressions, I have to agree. There is a ludicrous amount of weapons, movement types, blocks. It's really fleshed out, and even has weird things like this, which is a mini biome which slowly produces resources. The whole point, of course, of the GreenTech is to be more kind to the world, rather than simply destroying absolutely everything. Although, there are missiles for that. There are missiles which can gather from chunks. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over what I would call the highlights of this mod, so my favourite weapons and movement types and everything, because honestly there is way too much to cover absolutely everything. You'll have to download it yourself if you want to do that, links in the description. And then we're going to make a tech out of all of my favourite parts and try to fight some proper enemies in the creative mode. Currently we are in the R&D mode, so I'm going to go over some of my favourite weapons and favourite aspects of this mod as quickly as I can, which probably means it's going to take a while. These are spores. Honestly, straight away, we just have to talk about the movement types, beginning with the striders. So these are simply hovers, but they look like proper little legs. I think they look utterly fantastic and give a very distinct feel. I really like them. You can then have much larger movement types and even wheels you can put your cab in. I mean, seriously, who wouldn't want this thing? Also, that's a sand blaster, because sometimes fire and water just isn't good enough. Did I mention I like this mod? The Omni Wheel, which I can only say is going to be my favourite thing when working around a base if I end up using this mod in a proper run at some point. This thing is so enjoyable to use, and of course you can have multiple of them, but I'm just showcasing, you can just have one if you like. Omni Wheels, but on stilts. Again, super smooth, loads of strafing potential, the control in the tech is fantastic. Oh yeah, did I mention there's also a Thrasher wheel? This thing causes damage on impact. Because sometimes being green doesn't mean nice. They also have tracks and more regular wheels as well. Again, I won't be covering absolutely everything here because there is just too much to cover. I'm just going to cover the things I really enjoy, at least from my very first experience. Also, mobile solar panels, which is just such a nice addition. It's something simple, but really nice. Now, this weapon we started off with is the Nox Storm. It's just throwing noxious particles into the air which home in on the target and deal a good amount of damage. It doesn't seem like they do that great versus shields and such, but if they can get through, then yeah, try dodging this. They home in, you can use it on the move, and it's just really pretty and probably destroying YouTube's bitrate. Oh, there we go, it's gone straight through there and almost killed the first cube. Probably gonna have to reset this area a few times. Water cannons, which go through shields. Snowballs, with the recoil of a god. I don't know why the snowball autocannon has so much knockback, but it is what it is. And apparently it does also have knockback on the target as well. Again, something I might have to test out later, but there is still so much more to cover. Like, firing with sound. Weirdly, these may be my favourite. Little thermal mortars. So what these do is fire these little shots, which stick to the enemy. I think they look fantastic on the way down, and slowly melt through armour. Now, what makes them special is that they don't do damage to detached blocks, nor do they do damage to the environment, meaning you're going to get a lot of scrap per kill. They don't do that much damage each, but they're rapid fire. Once again, they home in pretty well, so against smaller techs, or if you're just really after specific blocks on enemies, I think they're great. I really do. I think they could be really underrated compared to some of the more flashy stuff, but I love these things. And they kind of look like angry seeds. I don't know why, but I like that considering I've just realised I kind of look like a weird palm tree. A really stunted one, with a smiley face. Blaze cannons, because who doesn't love fireballs? Volcano mortars. A solar flare gun. Big old fireball that homes it on targets and looks cool when it explodes. Ow. There are various forms of power. We have the anchored solar panels, we have proper wind turbines, which I have to say, I absolutely adore the look of, and I would use absolutely everywhere if possible. We have the bioreactors, which turn fuel into energy. There's a lot of stuff here. In fact, it even gives you a warning about that. It turns fuel, yep, straight into power, and they also produce a little bit of power by themselves, I believe. The reason why I'm so going into energy here is because of the weapon I currently have all over my tech, which is the mini Tesla coils. It's like the normal Tesla coil in that it fires automatically when you get close to things, and apparently you can hide them behind other blocks. As you can see, they're all firing, even the ones at the back. They do cause a substantial amount of slowdown, though, if you use too many. Yeah, needed to showcase that because that has crashed my game once, so a little bit careful with those. They're really fun. Just don't go overboard with them. The last of the normal weapons I'm going to quickly showcase, this is the Magnetar rail cannon. It takes a long time to fire, but when it does, it's pretty devastating. So it shoots that over there, which is melting everything nearby using its own electric pulse, and just continuously does damage. And as you can see, it actually melted several blocks off the cube, all by itself. If this thing gets to stay next to an enemy for an extended period of time, the damage is just devastating. And again, just looks really cool. I love... Wow, that went really far away. I love the uniqueness of a lot of these weapons. Now, the final weapons I'm going to quickly check out are these, the Harvester missiles. I haven't actually used these yet, so we need to go to one of the harvest zones so we can check out some resources. That's straightforward and, honestly, really fun. What's that trying to go towards? I guess you need to be quite close to them if you're finding them directly in the air, which is how I would use these. So these seek blocks, and as you can see, collects them all together, or at least tries to collect them all together. On a bit of flat terrain, this works really well. It can be a little bit less so, though, but I guess if you're farming all over the place, then that's fairly decent. And again, just a very unique, interesting idea. We have tubes rather than normal conveyors. Now, this I really, really like because I love building bases, so having something all pretty like this, well, you can see why I'd want to use them absolutely everywhere. They're also faster than normal conveyors, so that's all well and good. Nice and simple there. There are a lot of other things here as well, like how the tubes actually interact with silos and everything, and all the different options you can have there. In addition to better silos, or at least different silos, I should say, we have the different anchor types, including a really good version of the sky anchor, the city anchor. There's a lot here, but we don't have all day to cover every last thing. That also goes for all of the normal blocks. There's different types of windows and different types of glass. You have lots of different styles. You have piping, the recycle stuff, then you have the leaf blocks. There's lots of different options there cosmetically. Again, we don't have all the time in the day to go over every last one of these options, and now it's getting close to that time where I make my own proper tech. In fact, I might make two. We'll see how we go. Ah, there's a clock. And there's also a clock, which is cute. Oh. So these sun projectors really do project an image of the sun. It's a portable sun. That is astonishingly cool. Did I mention there's a lot of stuff we're not going to be able to get into today? Okay. I'll be back in the creative mode rather than the R&D labs, and we're going to try and design our very own versatile tech. I think I'm going to have one which is more of a base / resource harvester, and then one which is just purely for combat, as I slowly spit out chunks of wood everywhere. Because I'm a tree now, with a little hat. I didn't even realise, but there's also 4 alternate skins, so different colour schemes for the mod as well. I'm going to pretend I didn't see that, because I'm already going to struggle to make this entire tech. In fact, probably 2 of them. So first then, our combat vehicle. I do love the Thrasher wheels. They do damage, they look cool, they seem to be really easy to control. but also the Omni wheels are fantastic, so are these things. I really don't know which option I'm going to go with. And that's just the wheels. There's even the larger version of the wheel you can put your cab in. The cab has solar panels. That's just neat. Oh. There's cameras. Well, that's pretty fantastic. It's this little thing here, the top viewport dome. And if you add more of them, you can cycle through different cameras. So you have the 2 cameras I've just put down there, which is really weird in Terratech. Oh, I don't like how weird this feels. And then, of course, you have the standard camera. I just keep finding things I really like about the mod. I've decided we're a nasty little plant. So we fire these green spores, which do not that much damage, but they are very, very reliable hitting the target. And then if I hold down fire, we then fire the death spores absolutely everywhere. In addition to this, we do have some little mini Teslas all around us in case things get too close, and that's pretty much it. Now, I could have added some gyroscopes to make things less bouncy, but I kind of find it too funny. Just this thing bouncing and trundling along. This plant of death on its 4 little Omni wheels. So far, I haven't really seen much which is a challenge, and I didn't think I was going too overboard with the weapons, honestly. I'm tempted to remove the Knock Storm in the center because its damage is just insane. What I need to find is something with some shields and a bit of tank to it. So for us, though, of course, I've added loads of the solar panels because they just look awesome in my opinion, and I have some batteries on the inside, along with the shield which comes with the mod, which is both a shield and repairable hybrid. I don't think it's as good as some of the other tech's versions, but it's a hybrid, so I don't need, you know, every single type. So I've got 4 shields, there's 1 in each corner. It's all nice and symmetrical, and just makes me happy to see as it trundles along in its weird, spory ways. Don't worry, the next vehicle will look more like a normal vehicle, I promise. Let's find something to fight, though. I am apparently on hard difficulty, so I need something big and scary. Okay, yeah, so the actual damage per shot isn't that high, it's just that reliability. I think, like a lot of modded factions, it's just going to be really strong. The damage on these needs to be toned down, in my opinion, because they're just so reliable. What I love is if you're already firing, then you lock onto a target, all the shots you've already fired instantly snap to the enemy, and it looks so cool. See? Okay, let's remove the big cloud. Actually, I could remove it, or one way to stop it is simply removing some of these lights, which I have in the top, and just placing down some normal blocks, because this thing needs to be able to spin. That's not the block I was after, but you know what? Sure. Oh, that wasn't working last time. Why are you suddenly working? Why are you going against everything I just said? What if I block you in like this? There we go. Okay, that way I don't have to completely remove it, so I can just remove those if I want to fire again. So for now, we're just going with the green spores. And little Tesla if things get too close to me. This thing really punishes any weaknesses in a design, because you're hitting all over it so quickly. Yep. Super satisfying, but a bit too strong. Let's go back into the R&D mode and see if the battle arena will be better for this thing. I love this thing. I really do. It's such a fun weapon. If it was weaker, I would use it all the time if it was actually in the game, as a proper weapon. I love reliable weapons. It's my #1 favourite thing. It's why I love missiles so much in this game, because they home in and always hit the target. That does that, but it's just a bit too strong. That weird little plant. 3, 2, 1, and the enemy is here. That's a lot of guns. Okay, this is going to be a race to see if we can do damage before those very, very nasty guns kill us. Come on, little Teslas. Oh, we're a lot more nimble than they are. There we go. Hello, bro. Wow, we just fully ran out of power as well. Oh, because Tesla takes up power. I had one gyro and I think they just knocked it out because suddenly I'm a lot more... Oh, wow, okay. So this gun actually isn't as strong as I thought it was, to be perfectly honest. In comparison to good old-fashioned explosives. Release the cheat code! Charging up, there we go! Oh, if I just keep them going around in circles, they can't actually hit me with the cannon. Wow, am I just wrong about the damage this thing does? Yeah, get something that's actually tanky. This thing had shields as well. There we go. Okay. You know what? I'm going to call that a loss, because if I didn't activate the Knock Storm there, I would have lost, and I didn't really want to use that. So, little Teslas, really good. Siphon all of your power instantly. Let's go and build ourselves a little resource harvester, and I think for its weapons, we're going to go with the elements. I want at least one of each element. I want the leaf blowers for the power of air. I want the... Where are you? The sand blaster for earth. Then we have two options for water, both the hydro cannon and the ice cannon. Then for fire, actually we have quite a few options as well. I'm thinking just the little mortars. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, back to creative mode to make our masterpiece. So all of these here are biofuel tanks. These are slowly producing biofuel, since they are apparently algae, which is then being converted using these, which are the... If I can remember the name, that'd be great, but I can't. The GreenTech bioreactors into power. Now, admittedly, not all that quickly. Though I do have a lot of batteries, to be fair. So all of that is generating our power on the go without using the solar panels or anything else. So that's going to be our core, just lots and lots of energy production. Wow, they really do siphon all of that fuel so quickly. I guess when it's being used, we're not also replenishing the fuel, so it just kind of happens in bursts. Huh, a nice heavy battery as well. Cool. Now we need to do the outside and then sort out our weapons. I think really the hydro cannons are going to be the main thing we use. This isn't meant to be a combat vehicle. So these are just meant to disperse the enemies, but it is going to be elemental based still. So I still want all four elements on our little resource truck. I've only just realised the name of these things. Okay, so we're going to grab some of these propellers. Rather than going down the truck route, I think I still want to go with the whole transport idea, maybe a harvester. What about a spider hover harvester? Because, you know, normal things. I've just realised, I can call this the Harvestman Spider. It even makes sense. Now, controlling this thing, however, not quite used to it, but this thing can really move. Which is good. Having only the ice attack home in is a little bit difficult to get some proper hits off, but it is working. Well, the frost and the water anyway. So when I said proper techs, I really just meant test dummies. So the water can go through shields. Can the sand go through shields as well? That's actually something I didn't notice before. Whee! Yes, it can. So that's the big benefit then of both the sand and the water attack. It goes directly through shields. Which of course is way more costly on the tech you're attacking, because repairing is a lot more expensive than just deflecting it. Okay, now let's build a true final tech here, rather than this monstrosity I quickly threw together. Though I do rather like my little elemental bug. If it's going to be a harvester, it needs to be able to hit things in front of it without getting stuck, which is why we have these wheels. Whoops daisy. We then also have the ability to turn on the spot. Those are the two main things I wanted this thing to have. Okay, not too sure about this front section just yet, but the basic idea is there at least. There we are, that's pretty simple. We get to where we need to go, then we allow filter everything. This then moves all the blocks from every single one of our silos all the way to here, in which it's just dropped, and that's where the factory will be. Put a bit too much thought into this, though I say that it's an absolute mess. It's so inefficient space-wise, but I'm kind of happy with how this thing looks overall. I just need to change a few things. Oh yeah, why am I not using the pipes? Good point, me. I spoke about how much I like the pipes, and I just defaulted back to the conveyors. Look, it's things I'm aware of, and it's getting late. The windmills work when you're mobile. It says anchored, but it's definitely charging us. That is really cool. I wish it told us it was doing that. So here's the thing, I've built 3 techs now. I'm not completely happy with any of them, but I'm happy enough with each of them. Our little harvester here, it does have shields. I've just turned them off for the sake of looking at all these techs together, and honestly, I am happy enough with all of them. We have the combat vehicle, the traveling, and the harvester, and we have still not touched a lot of the game. There are new wings, there are different types of hover items, there's weapons we haven't really used. Obviously, there are loads of accessories. There's a lot of stuff to cover, but I am going to call it here. This was only meant to be a quick showcase of the mod. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed, and if this is a mod you want to see continued to be messed around with, I could always do a quick run of the campaign using this mod. They do replace some of the venture chests, I believe is how it works. So, with that, I really do hope you've enjoyed today's video. If I do cover the mod again, I will put a bit more time into it. Again, this is a bit of an experimental format, testing out mods in Terratech. Is there an audience for that? Tell me in the comments. So, trying the outro twice. Oh my god, it's so late. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed today's video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff, helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Terratech is a series you wish to see continued in the future. In the next video, we'll be back to the campaign itself. Normally I would edit all that out, but I just want to showcase how tired I am after recording Stellaris for 10 hours before this today. My voice needs a rest. Have a lovely day, and do take care.